and seeing if Juan Soto could break out of it. And I do think it's going to come sooner than later, but I also thought it was going to come at home on opening day. Man, maybe it comes on the road, a little pressure off. Again, not that Juan Soto can't handle the pressure, but the question is he pressing a little bit here with his slow start relative to Juan Soto? We saw last year he dominated right out of the gate for the Yankees. We gave the wrong number before, by the way. It was not over 1,000 the first 12 games. It was 978, his OPS. So, and he did have 11 RBI through those, but not even close to the numbers that he's got right now.
Well, let me ask you this. One thing, and we went through this for many, many years. I guess it still exists to an extent, but it seems like it was more of a thing back in the day, the Yankee moment. Here comes Giambi.
Yeah, right.
I believe his Yankee moment, if I remember this right, was a grand slam in the rain. I think that was against the Twins.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure. A-Rod, all right, what's his Yankee moment? We go through this, right? Even I think the other day, to a much lesser extent, maybe Max Fried's Yankee moment.
Yeah.
Yankees that lost 3 in a row.
Oh, you're in the pinstripes.
He goes out, he spins, 11 whiffs, no runs, ends the skid. Yankees start feeling better about themselves. So is it more about the totality of the numbers with Soto for you, or because he hasn't quite had a Soto Mets moment yet?
No, I don't want a singular moment. I expect many moments. But Juan Soto...
but you can't have many till you get the first.
Yeah,
So it seems like that's what you're waiting for. Because the numbers are fine.
I mean, he had his... Well, they're not fine.
Well, the OPS is fine.
No, it's not.
What is it?
Fine for who?
What's the OPS again?
I just told you. His OPS is 846.
I thought it was a little more than that.
No, he's a career 952
Yeah,
OPS.
no, I know the career. I thought it was a little more. I thought it was in the nines.
And by the way, if that's soft, it'd be one thing if his OPS was in the nines.
Yeah.
And he had one home.
Which it was before the other day.
Okay.
Because I think he was hit 3 change before the last game.
I mean, either
that's
way,
early season baseball.
Well, okay, fair enough. But it'd be one thing if his numbers were comparable to what he normally does and the power was down. The fact that he's got 1 homer and his OPS is not in the nines.
Yep.
Again, it's 12 games. It doesn't mean he's going to stink. I'm waiting for more impact. What? Hey, you don't sign somebody for $765 million and have him play second fiddle to anybody.
You don't get a pass. That's the way it's going to be. It's not like when the Knicks brought in Jalen Brunson, who we knew it from Villanova, good champion. All right, filled in for Doncic. Wow, we had a pretty big moment here or there, but nobody looked at Brunson. Now he's really overstated who he is. He's terrific, as we know, but we didn't really know what he was yet. It's not like if Brunson came out in his first couple of games was 1 for 5 or 1 from 6 from downtown, he'd be getting lit up because nobody associated on the radio. Nobody associated Brunson when he first got here as that top-tier superstar level. This is the scope of criticism, and I don't even know if it's criticism as much as it is an observation of the start of Juan Soto, but you're getting paid with the big boys. You're swimming with the big boys. You left the Yankees. You're a Met. Mets trying to win the World Series. He's been a little less than.
Yeah.
And this is going to be the night-to-night pulse that A-Rod and all the other greats get. This is what happens.
BT and Sal on the Fan. Tom is in Boonton, New Jersey. What's up, Tom?
Yeah, hi. Thanks for my phone call, guys. Sal, I think you're a little wrong about something. I would start to worry. I'm worried. I've been watching the Mets since 1968. He is the highest paid baseball player in the world. He's not Ohtani. He's not Judge. And he can't even play with Kyle Tucker. So he's so average right now. It's unbelievable. And I understand he's going to get better. And I'm having a good time watching him. It's fun. And every time he comes to bat, you never know what's going to happen. But he's just not playing like the highest paid baseball. Thank God it's not my money. But guys, is he? Am I wrong? Is he better than any of those 3 guys I mentioned?
No, but it's 12 games.
Yeah, well, right now, but he's talking about long term as well. I think
he's not.
I think it's a different conversation. See,
Tucker's a little different. He's not better than Ohtani and Judge. For me, no, there's no way.
Yeah, again, the value of Juan Soto is in the postseason, in the clutch versus those guys, maybe the impact that he would have in that spot. But we haven't seen, and that's kind of my point, is that, now I'm not going to go nuts and say I'd be worried about Juan Soto. I'm not worried at all. All I can tell you is how I honestly feel. I'm not making this up. This doesn't come from, let me pretend that Juan Soto's pressing. It's something while watching the games, the most recent homestand here, where I'm thinking to myself, maybe he's pressing a little bit because he's not doing what he usually does. I've watched Juan Soto's entire career. We've watched him every game last year with the Yankees. We've seen him in the postseason. Yeah, he's getting on base. Yeah, his worst is better than everybody else. He's not looking like the player that I was dying for the Mets to go out there and get. He's not the player that is warranting a $765 million contract. It's 12 games, but he's not that player yet.
I don't disagree with that, but that's why when we say great player versus, great hitter, that's why I always push back and establish my own personal parameters, because when you're a player like Juan Soto, and, you're not a center fielder with elite range or a guy who's going to do a lot on the bases, when you don't hit, you don't impact the game, which is why you go back to, not to get back to the Tucker-Soto debate now, but that's why I prefer Tucker over Soto on a night-to-night basis, because he could beat you in more ways than one. So... Yeah, even though Soto's a better hitter.
Right, but Soto's so much of a better hitter that I
don't know if he's so much. I disagree with that. I don't even want to get back into that. I disagree.
No, but that's a fun conversation.
It is, but it's not statistically true what you just said. He's not a much better hitter than Tucker. We went through this the other day.
Right.
He's not.
Right, but you make it look. He got $765 million.
I don't care about the money. Money means nothing to me. What do you do on the field?
Yeah.
I don't. What does the contract mean?
So what?
So Rodon got $160. He should be Garrett Cole. What does the money really mean? It means now the Mets had a premium. He's going to sell merch.
No, the market.
I get that.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean he's a better all-around player than
but you say that
4,
like
5, 6 guys.
You say that like Juan Soto can't play the game. He's not a butcher in right field.
I'm not
he's not
saying
bad on the base paths. No, you do say that.
No, I just said he's not a butcher, but he's not a difference maker. When he goes 0 for 4, Juan Soto does not contribute to the bottom line at all.
Usually because he gets on base. He'll get on base anyway.
But I'm talking about like the defense and the speed element.
He's fine defensively.
He's fine, but he's not above average. I know he's fine. I'm not making him out to be
Dominguez
the first day of camp. I know that. Right? He's not a butcher. He's not Todd Hundley
if Kyle
trying
Tucker,
to learn how to play. I know.
Here's why the money does matter, because the market dictates what the money is. If Kyle Tucker were as good as Juan Soto, then he would be getting a massive contract as well.
Well, let's see what he gets, number one. And number two, he's 3 years older, which I think is obviously going to impact that. So, and Vlad got, 5 on the button. He's also grossly out of shape, and he's had a couple of years where it's like, who really is Vlad Guerrero? So I don't attach absolute value to the contract. Now, I think that he deserved the money.
Right.
I think that what you get is what you earn and what you deserve. I don't begrudge him at all. Juan Soto's terrific. He's going to put people in the seats. Mets going to win. But I do believe strongly, with every ounce of my baseball sensibility, if Juan Soto goes 0 for 4, Juan Soto brought nothing to the table. Nothing. If you want to disagree with that, that's fine. If he doesn't get on base and doesn't get hits, he doesn't contribute at all. Lindor can go 0 for 4. He can make 3 great plays up the middle, get on base on an error, steal second, score on a blue base hit. Soto doesn't do that.
Who do you think?
That's all I'm saying.
Who do you think should have got the MVP in the National League last year?
I think the guy who got it deserved it. I know we disagree on that. I think it was very close. I think Ohtani deserved it.
Okay, but how? If your argument
because
is
his offensive numbers were so much better. If they were closer.
Your whole argument against Soto is that if he goes 0 for 4, he doesn't impact the game. Well, what about Ohtani? He doesn't play a position.
Did Soto have 50 steals last year? Did Soto have 50 home runs last year?
Did Lindor have 50 home runs? Did Ohtani wear a glove in the field last year?
He did not. But he stole 50 bases.
But BT, if your logic is and you're entitled to think whatever you want to say Kyle Tucker impacts the game more than Soto, sure, that's your opinion. I'm not going to change that. I disagree vehemently, but I also would say Francisco Lindor is the MVP. And how could you say that Tucker impacts the game more ways than Soto, but yet Ohtani deserved the MVP when he literally did not set foot in the field with a glove on last year?
Because the gap in the productivity between Ohtani and Lindor was so stark that's one of the few examples where I would grant that concession. I'll tell you this, Al. If Ohtani stole 12 bases and had 42 home runs, you know what I'd be saying? It's a Lindor's award.
Right. I mean, I get the greatness of Ohtani, but, I mean, if your argument is that he impacts the game more ways than just one, then there is no argument. Because Francisco Lindor played every single day. He played good defense at a high level at shortstop. Ohtani sat his ass on the dugout bench the majority of the season last year.
Think about this. The well-rounded nature to Lindor's game is why Lindor finished second.
Right.
Like if he didn't have the 30 whatever steals or crank out these bombs or be clutch late or play great defense, he may have been 8th, 9th, or 10th. Like, there's Sal, you got to grant me. I mean, you don't have to, but I think you might. There's certain situations in baseball history where the MVP is so far and above anybody else statistically that stepped outside of Judge, of course, Ohtani last year, that stepped on a field. You have to make the concession, even if it's like a 2 or a 3 out of 5 tool performance. Like 50 steals, dude. No, 50, not 9.
I mean, it's not 1980. The stolen base is not what it used to be.
But it still has value. I mean, says who?
Well, I mean, it's just...
when you say it's not what it used to be, it might not be as prevalent, but it doesn't mean it's less important.
Well, they're trying to get it back into the game, obviously make it more relevant. Kyle Tucker, career OPS, 877.
I understand that.
And his career on base, 356.
Now, look at his best years and look at Soto's best years. They're close. and then incorporate the defense and incorporate the
Kyle
speed.
Tucker's best year power-wise, 30 home runs.
Okay, and before last year, what was Juan Soto's? I believe it was 33 or 34. Juan Soto's not a 40 home run guy. I mean, he's not hitting 40 this year.
Well, he's had a season of 34.
34, right? 34,
Yeah.
35. But then a lot were like 30,
35,
29.
41.
You know,
I mean,
it's comparable. It's comparable.
I don't think that it is. I think Soto's the far better offensive player. I mean,
he is the better offensive player. I'm saying Tucker's the better all-around player.
Yeah, and look, I think Tucker's going to end up being a Yankee. Unless the Cubs sign him, he's off to a hot start.
He's cooking.
All right, BT and Sal on the field. We'll come back. More of your calls, 888-808-1019.